Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Accidentally Informed, where
all of your favorites come to spill the trending tea. And Lord, technology tried to take us out today.
Technology was hating on our show today, and look, it continues. It continues. Oh, okay. I am on the road.
Yes,
the way I have my studio rigged right now is really sad, and I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi here. So we all just pray it's not gonna be a long show today because I got to get to the red carpet today, and I'm on team no sleep. Hi, Erica.
Hello. Will you get situated because and I'm going to just kind of like fill in for you for a second while you get situated, because first of all, we were in New York. Claudia, the Run premiere was amazing. I cannot even believe how just a whirlwind this entire thing is. I am so proud of you and the cast. Just for context, Claudia is in LA right now for another premiere for the film Run, which is debuting. It premieres on the 29th. So make sure you get your tickets on Fandango. And that's the reason why we have to get her to the red carpet. But we have a super important show. And so many of you are already in the comments, informers, talking about, I'm here for Dr. Showanna. And we are going to give you Dr. Showanna because she is with us today from King's Court.
Okay. Yeah. Are we going to do that right now?
No. I'm just telling you.
Okay, I was like, I'm listening to you like, oh, you're good at this.
Yeah, no.
But thanks for coming out, Erica, and supporting. You're such a supporter friend. So thank you. You were there, your whole team, Megan, Jeray. It was great. The videos we got, super. Like, you're so good at that. And you had a Sprinter van. I'm like, she's rich. She had it all hooked up. It was, and then we did the Breakfast Club, and people were mad at us. But we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna try to get to that today about clarify some things, because they always take the worst part, the blogs, and put the worst part in the headline, and then you have to like live by that. Like, you have to like die on that hill. Yeah. It's like, wait, hold on now. Hold on.
Let's just get to that first because so we were at Breakfast Club. We recorded on Monday, and then all the clips aired on Tuesday. You can see the full episode. Go to Breakfast Club on YouTube. Check that out. We had such a great time with Charlemagne, Envy, Lauren, and Jess. They were amazing. And we got into like every single topic like known to man. And some of the things I was not prepared for. So it's one of those things where there's 6 professional speakers and it's like, bam, 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 bam. And like, we're professionals. We've been doing this for a very long time. So we know how this game works. But there were some things that came up. And when we watched it back, we were like, okay, I mean, we can be accountable to some things, because I think ultimately when I'm dishing it, I'm always talking about like, just be accountable, like acknowledge that it happened and then, state your case and move on. So we're going to start with that. You want to kind of, we will dig into the comments and we'll just answer the comments as is. So I can get on the hot seat first if you want.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. All right. So we'll put the comment. Claudia, you can read the comments for me.
Okay. Lamar 86107 said, I'm from Chicago. I know how me and the rest of these men are out here. There's no way she was out here not getting approached. She's definitely lying 100%. And this is in response to Erica saying that when we talked about her never getting hit on by black men.
Right.
So people were like, she's lying. I saw so many comments. I'm like, oh my God, my girl's not a liar. So what do you want? What do you have to say for yourself?
You know what? I'm not a liar. When I said it, first of all, Claudia, messy Claudia over here, she said, she's like, she never gets hit on by black men. And there was so much going on. I was like, yeah, I generally don't. And then I'm like, black men never hit on me. And I was talking about, first of all, I've been married for over 9 years at this point. So this is like kind of a non-starter question, but it wasn't that I was saying no black man has ever hit on me. What I was saying is that when it came to the pool of men who I was aligning with, those types of black men were not asking me out. And it's really a non-starter. It doesn't matter. I am very happily married, but I did see the comments and I felt like it was leaning into a harmful territory about the narrative between black men and black women. That is not a conversation that I want to catalyze or be a part of. So I do want to clarify that I was talking about when it comes to committed relationships, because I am a serial monogamous, like I'm a relationship girly. So when it came to relationships in my past, I wasn't being engaged in that way with Black men. That is just what it is. I'm not going to lie about that. I don't think it matters at this point, but it does matter for the greater conversation. So that's one of them.
So men that you would date, like the Black men that you would date, none of them really hit. You rarely, maybe never is a strong word. So people ran with that never,
right?
Like no one's ever, and they're like, she's so beautiful. There's no way, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. So
I appreciate that. And Lamar, I hear you. I'm not even, I will accept that. I will take accountability for that. We got any other hot seat questions? Because I'm like, let's go.
We do. I'm sure we do. What's the other comment?
Okay.
Big Boss Hugo 7 says Black men avoid her because she looks like she about to fight. Is that for me?
Big Boss Hugo, I am about to fight with my words. Okay. Like, first of all, this is a no violence situation. That's a very layered comment, because what does that even mean? But obviously we've seen some of the comments. Some of them are actually very spot on. I was like, that is a very good comment. That makes a lot of sense to me, even though it wasn't something that was supporting what I said or agreeing with. But yes, I will take all of the caps, because the way that it came across, everyone's like, she capping. I'm like, if I could have worn a cap over my ponytail, I probably would have, because I can understand how that came across. It did come across crazy. That wasn't the intention. But let's get into you, Claudia, because you got a hot mic moment where you called your ex-boyfriend a B based on how y'all broke up. So let's get into some of your comments. It's hot seat time. So Home Team Bleak says, so our man lost his job. She didn't have time to be supportive in other ways. So he's a B. 52 and single ain't because you want to be, no matter how tough you talk. Claudia Jordan.
First of all, that guy looks like an owl that made that comment. And his hairline's really pushed back. So do not come for me. Second of all, I immediately apologized the minute I said, I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Edit, cut. I did say that because I'm on no sleep, and I really regretted saying the B word. Just to be clear, I am sorry. Even my status on my Instagram, I changed it and I said, I'm sorry. I did not mean it like that. Because I did not mean it. It came out, and one of my, a couple of my guy friends reached out to me. They were like, that's a bit harsh. Now, the word I should have said was cowardly. I feel like the way he avoided a conversation to kind of put a button on things was very cowardly. And, I'm not going to get into all the things that led to that, but to go from how serious we were to change on me without the conversation. And to say I wasn't supportive, I did everything I could for when things went south for him. And it was only a brief amount of time. And I had so much faith in this man. I'm like, you're going to be fine. Like, you're so dope. And I would, try to manifest things with us. I'm like, I'm going to have my own talk show and you're going to have this high position. Like, I see it for you. I would always speak and pour into him. I always would. So that's why it was so disappointing the way he handled me towards the end of our relationship. And instead of like talking about, Claudia, I'm going through this, I feel like this, instead he would just avoid all conversations and be like, I'm on a Zoom, and just avoid me and then make little comments. And it really hurt my feelings because before we were together, we were friends for like 10 years. So I already adored him and loved him as a friend. So I lost a boyfriend who actually talked to my mother about marrying me and asked for my ring size, talked to me about a venue. Like I know people think I can never get a man. I don't have a man. I just quietly deal with my relationships. I didn't put it out there with him. I mean, I was on family trips with him and his kids. The daughter loved me. We talked all the time. We still check in sometimes. And it really felt, you feel safe with someone that was your friend. So I'm not going to lie. I was very hurt when his whole personality shifted. And I 1000% regret referring to a man that I dealt with as the B word. I did not mean it. I immediately regretted it the moment it came out of my mouth. I know people say women don't take accountability. I am 1000% taking accountability, saying I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't know if he's watching. I hope you see my status. And I really did not mean that. And I was like, oh, they're not going to edit that because that never happens.
Yeah.
So, again, cowardly in how we handle it, because I'm usually friends still with my exes because I don't have messy breakups unless there's abuse or severe cheating. So, I was disappointed in how we handled our breakup. I mean, how we handled our relationship. So I 1000% regret it. I messed up, you guys, and I'm human.
Yeah. I think what was so important about, because really when I watched the interview back, I was kind of surprised about a lot of things. One, there's so much energy in that room. There's a reason why they're at the top of in terms of culture and hierarchy and all of that. But there's a lot going on. So you're kind of you're having these conversations. And also we're very authentic to, who we are and what we want to say. But sometimes things get misconstrued. And if it's important in a way that we feel like, hey, we should address this, we're always going to do that because that's the type of transparency that we have on Accidentally Informed. So we thank you guys for supporting, and we thank you for always being here to hear us out. So what's going on?
Oh, and then they were also still mad about me talking about the Tracy, Dion, Carucci thing, but they asked me about it. Listen, I'm not going on a tour for them. I'm not doing PR for Tracy, for Dion, or for Carucci, but I don't know how many times I want to keep asking me about this. It's done. And I'm not talking about it anymore. So don't ask me.
Well, please. Because you have things going on like your run premiere. So we know that.
We got some people coming tonight to the premiere. Judge Mathis is coming. Dion Cole, an amazing comedian. We've got a bunch of folks coming out tonight. So I'm super excited and flattered and honored that they're going to be here today. So
I saw Sunny at the New York premiere. Sunny Huston. Yes. Dustin Ross, who of course is a friend of the show.
Mano, Chinese Kitty. We're really excited about this.
That's amazing. Okay, I
have a sheer dress, and I hope I have the right undergarments because it's sheer with a bunch of beads, stones.
I can't wait to see what you're wearing because that gold number in New York was amazing. I'm getting the cue from our producers. We got to get to the first story because
Okay, let's get into it. All right, now, Lil Nas X is facing felony charges after police say he punched officers while wandering around naked in LA. TMZ has a video of him strutting down the streets. Erica, what do you think's going on?
I don't know. Are we going to see?
You know where it's at. No, go ahead, babe. No. Go ahead, babe. Uh-oh, somebody's going to have to pay for that.
Okay. I do not want to ever see anything like this with some of our young talent. To me, it's very indicative of what we generally see, after a few years of someone not having a support system who can check them, but also keep them safe. Obviously, he's facing 4 felonies, which I'm like, it feels like an overcorrection. It feels like he is someone who has always been targeted, and now it's like, just give them a reason, and now they have one. So I'm sending a lot of love and prayer to Lil Nas X because I think that this is a massive overstep for something that he clearly needs some, probably some professional help for.
I thought it was trolling at first. I was hoping it was just the strutting. But then when I heard that 4 felony charges, I'm like, we didn't see that in the video. We just see him strutting. We see someone that either was trolling or really needs some help. I'm not familiar with how people behave when they're on certain drugs because I don't have a lot of experience around that. But, he is good at getting a moment, doing outrageous things. So I was praying I hope this is just Lil Nas X being Lil Nas X. But the 4 felony charges, I'm like, what is that about? But when you're under the influence and you get into it, he probably didn't even remember the next day, what happened to get 4 felonies over that. I don't know who's in his circle. But I hope that you have people that can, and not that it's your circle's job to make you, be on the straight and narrow path, but damn, where are your people though? But where are your people?
I disagree. I think it is your circle's job to hold you accountable and to keep you safe in these moments, because that is, to me, if you are someone who is as big of a public figure as Lil Nas X and you have a circle who is likely eating off of you, profiting off of you. And I'm not saying it in terms of like they're taking advantage of you. I'm saying that when you have a team, generally Lil Nas X is the catalyst for all of everyone else to provide a job, to provide opportunities for, and you are feeding each other. Like you have your subject and then you have the people around who are supposed to be the support. So if you're going to be support in the good times, you have to be able to be support and accountability when this person is crying out for help. So I do think that it's a big part of the team because you've seen some of this coming.
I hear you. See, I've dealt with people where like no matter what I've tried to save them but I care. And it got so frustrating where I felt like I was driving myself crazy. And I had to tell a couple friends recently, well, actually one of them, I can't care more about you than you. Like what I'm over here stressing myself out. You don't want the help. You don't want my advice. You don't want me to like hold up a mirror and be like, what are you doing right now? Like I have your best interest in mind. And then like at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. Yes, I do agree with you. People that are benefiting from his success and leeching on, those are like, that's your job actually, because you're actually financially benefiting. You really should. But like, damn, it's so frustrating when you want the best for someone. You really want it. And it's falling on deaf ears and there's nothing. You feel helpless. You know, I remember giving people heads up about men they're dealing with. And then I lose the friend or about their drug use. And then I lose the friend and they don't want to hear it. And I'm like, I think, you know what? The best way probably somewhere in the middle of what we're saying, a collaboration. You have to care and your circle should care as well. And we should somewhere, you know, let's together get you out of this dark place. You know,
but I agree.
All right, real quick. We're gonna real quick on this. Serena Williams. People are coming for her after she admitted to taking weight loss drugs. Should she have shared the news? What do you think?
Yeah, she definitely needed to share the news because then she dropped a promo for Zepbound, so she got ahead of it. It was clear to a lot of people that this could have been like a preemptive strike because of this collaboration that she has with Zepbound. I'm glad that she's being transparent. We got stopped by TMZ when we were leaving Breakfast Club. They asked us about this. And I was really happy that we're talking about it because so many people are on GLP-1s. And there's a diversity of issues and situations that people have decided to get on this drug for. I was one who said I would never do, when Ozempic first came out, I was like, I can't do Ozempic. And the reason why is because I am a former fitness competitor. And I know that being a former fitness competitor, I really struggled with body dysmorphia after I stopped competing. And so I need to understand like how I got to this place as opposed to just getting somewhere kind of expedited. But when GLP-1s like Zepbound came out, I did my research. I talked to my my endocrinologist. And my endocrinologist actually suggested that I get on Zepbound. And so I started Zepbound in February, and it has been such a game changer.
Really?
Yes, because for the past 2 years prior, I was doing IVF starting at 41 years old. So from 41 to 43. And the amount of inflammation in my body, there was no dieting or exercise that was changing that. Like I'm probably also perimenopausal. So I could see the shift. And honestly, it wasn't anything that was like overnight. I've lost about 14 pounds since February. But I also train 3 days a week with my trainer. I go to Pilates twice a week and I walk an hour a day. Like I put in the work. It was just that my body was like just at a standstill. So I appreciate people being transparent about what they're doing because the last thing you need is like, oh, we'll just fast or just do that. The idea that people are telling Serena that she's a world.
No one works out more than Serena Williams, okay? And I will say this about Serena. No matter what she does, someone's always going to have a goddamn problem with it. And it's so frustrating. She's the most decorated tennis player in history, I believe. And, you know, like I went to matches early on in her career in LA. And I remember being in the audience and hearing people call her the N-word. Monkey, all kind of things. And I was like, wow, the amount of concentration and focus you have to not only concentrate on your game and be, just be so on point, combined with hearing racist remarks in your hometown, it takes amazing mental strength. This is a disciplined woman. This is a woman that works hard, both her and Venus. And this is the mother effing thanks she gets. People still criticizing her. They make fun of her makeup. They make fun of her hair. They make fun of her body. They call her a man, all kinds. Like, they're never happy with her. And I don't know what it is about, like, statuesque, brown skin, muscular women that are athletes, world-class athletes, where people want to come for them and call them a man, and saying it, of course, in an insulting way, and come for their femininity, come for everything about them. I'm so friggin' sick of it. And a lot of times it's our community that does it to these people. I mean, the others, we know where that comes from, but we have to stop that. This is a woman that got muscular and thick from working hard and being the best in history. And y'all still mad. So then she listens. Listen, even the strongest minds, it's going to get to them after a while. And I don't know, I'm not saying she did this for us, but I can guarantee you, she sees what people write and say, and it's in her head. Subconsciously, it's in her head, like what people say about her. You know what I mean? So yeah, she's doing it for her, but you best believe, I'm sure there's a small part of it that did come from the constant attacks since she was a kid. Leave Serena Williams alone. If she wants to be a slimmed down version of herself and she chooses to use this medication to help her, then so be it. I'm so sick of people in the comments with their life in shambles that have the audacity to always have something in their bio about Christ and how much of a Christian they are. Be the biggest assholes. I had a check someone the other day that said some horrible things about me, and I go to that page. Oh, I can do all things through Christ. You can be a hater through Christ. Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language, but not really. Okay, here we go. Erica, one more thing before we get to our amazing guest. Karen Huger's prison sentence getting reduced. They say she's going to be out like next week. What do you think about that?
You know what? I was one that voiced my disappointment about Karen being on her third DUI and not wanting to take accountability. And I will be the first to say, I think that she has more than served her time. I think this is a very teachable lesson for anyone because that's the thing, when you dodge accountability, it comes in such a greater force when it finally catches up with you. So that's part of the reason why I like to just get ahead of my accountability train. Like, okay, I did it. I'm not proud of it. This is what it is. But you know what? She served her time. I hope that she's able to move on from this, that she is a light in the dark for a lot of people who may be struggling. And congratulations to Karen for this early release, because people were saying it wasn't going to happen in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, Karen. You can't mess up again after this. Like, it's beyond egregious to have what, 4 US. It's beyond. So we are giving you grace, right? We're like, okay, all right, cool. She served her time, but you really have to be careful. Like, you really have to be careful now. You cannot mess up, because there will be no other chances after this. After, if you blow it this time, it's going to be like, all right, we're done with you, because you're putting people's lives at risk, including your own. And I hope you know, because Karen, you are the grand dame. We need you to be at 100%. And I think you're fine. You know, a lot of times people don't address the root cause of why they're drinking so much. And that's why I hope maybe she was able to address that while she was serving her time. So yeah. All right, y'all. With no further ado, let's get to our guest. Now, she came in with brains, boldness, and a whole lot of spice. I love a spicy girl. Even when the house got messy. From Bravo's King's Court, please welcome Dr. Showanna.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Claudia. How are you?
I am wonderful. So happy to be here with you all. Super excited because I heard you all talking about the show when it first started airing. And then I remember Claudia saying, we want to bring some of the ladies on as they leave off. And I got the message. I was like, me?
You're our first one. You are our first.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you for doing the show. We really appreciate this. The show's great. It's a fun time. And it's interesting to see, like, when men are in the position of power, doing the choosing. I actually feel for the women. I think it's a little bit more difficult than like Queen's Court, because like it's not really supposed to be our nature to chase men and to, like hope we get chosen. You know what I mean? So I know that's had to be, especially when you're an accomplished woman, you're like, what am I doing here chasing these men? And then, the women. So let's just get into it now. You confronted Thaddeus after he kept calling you aggressive. From what we saw, he seemed understanding and apologetic. And I loved that scene with you two. I thought that was beautiful. I think that put him at the top of the list as far as emotional intelligence of the men on the show. I really do. But did things shift between the two of you after that conversation?
I guess you can kind of see in the next episode or so that it was kind of a slight shift there. More so in the space of, I think he started exploring some of the other relationships or connections a little bit more in those scenes. And I kind of just took a step back to it. It was a really sensitive moment for us. Like we were really in that moment. And so being in that moment, having that conversation, the emotions and everything that was happening, I think it did kind of, it kind of shifted a little bit after that.
I watched that scene, and I actually watched it a few times because one, I really appreciated how present you were and listening to what didn't feel good to you, but also, and I don't even know if you were thinking about this in the moment, but how it would feel to other Black women watching it, because it was like your presence to clock it in the moment, to say, hey, I really don't appreciate this. And that sit down was something that was so important for us to see as viewers. But obviously, and you talked about how it shifted. So were you feeling like it shifted because like the emotion shifted because you clocked it in the moment? Or were you just feeling like there were new women involved? This is just what happens.
I think it was probably a compilation of several things. There were new women in the space that they came in. We all had different personalities, wonderful women that I was casted alongside in this show. But I think it was a little bit of everything. It was an emotional moment for us. He's a very passionate person. What you see is exactly what you get from Thaddeus. And so I'm also very passionate. I know that I became more reserved. So I do have to acknowledge that I became more reserved because I was battling internally with what was being said and trying to understand, was I being aggressive? Like, what did this look like? Like, how am I really feeling in this moment? And then at the same time, trying to reconcile with my emotions in that moment. I'm typically the type of person where I don't really show emotions. So I was also in my mind, like, I just cried, and I'm in here in this moment. I'm feeling all of these emotions. I didn't like what I was feeling, but I appreciated the way he showed up in that conversation. And I also took a step back. So I can't necessarily say it was just because we had the conversation. I just kind of stepped back and observed. And I mean, I also felt, and I said it in my elimination episode, I kind of felt like he handled the other relationships a little bit differently than the way that he handled it with me. And so the pursuit with them was a little different than the pursuit with me.
Yeah.
A lot of times I really advocate for Black women to take off the cape, like the superwoman cape, that we're so strong, because it never helps us. It really doesn't, because at the end of the day, it's like, she's good. She can handle it. I don't have to not pander, but coddle her. And sometimes we're dealt with rougher because they think we're so strong and we can handle it. And I just really want to encourage Black women to stop. We don't have to be the strong one anymore. I'm going to ask for help for things I can do myself. And I hate that, because the only reason we are aggressive or strong usually is out of necessity. When we feel cared for and supported and someone's got our back, we are the most feminine because we feel it's okay. You know what I mean? A lot of times, look how we are. We have to work twice as hard to get 60% of the money, right? And then we have to do be overly educated, the most educated group in the country. But then we have to do this, that, and the third, balance everybody, save the world, vote to help everyone, save everybody else's interests, often putting ourselves last in health and vacations, taking care of ourselves, self-care. But then you want us to be in the front lines with everything else and somehow find the way to be super soft and docile when it comes to dating after being let down 1,000 times. So I'm like, what did DMX say? What y'all want from us, basically? I'm trying not to cuss because I already got in trouble this week for using some words. Damn, like y'all want us, it's like they want the virgin and the whore at the same time. Not to say that we're.
I mean, there is a diversity of thought here. Siobhan Lewis says, I love Dr. Showanna. I was sad when she was eliminated. I'm glad she's on today's episode of Excellently Informed. She is so pretty, smart, and classy. What was your feelings when you initially got eliminated?
You know, I had a lot of emotions going through me at that time when I was sitting at the table. Of course, we started at the mixer, and in the mixer, having conversations with each of the guys. A piece of it for me was, honestly, I gained some wonderful relationships with the ladies that were in the house. And so like, I still talk to them to this day. So that was one piece of it, was like, oh my gosh, like I have gotten to know these ladies and I'm here with them. These were some friendships. So like, what does this look like as I leave this space? The other piece of it was, I was in a space of, you know what, if I'm not your queen, I really hope that you find what you're looking for here, because it's some wonderful ladies in the house. I don't think we truly had a full opportunity to allow that connection to blossom the way that it could have blossomed. We did have a strong connection. Like I said, Thaddeus is a great guy. We got to learn a lot about each other. We have a lot in common. And so as I was sitting at the table, I was still okay with it though, because as you can see with what you're showing now, like we laughed, we talked and all of those things. And I was just happy we were able to walk away from it and not have any type of ill feelings towards one another. And it was a true seamless exit. And to be able to, now I'm watching and I'm like, I'm rooting for the ladies. Like, I want to see happiness come from that, especially for him as well. And of course for myself. So my king wasn't there, but he out here somewhere. Hey.
Yes, he is.
How did you feel what were your feelings for him? Did you really feel like, did you really like him?
Yeah, like I thought he was a really great guy. It's really interesting being thrust in that type of setting and situation where you're forced to get to know somebody in a matter of a couple of days. It's literally a couple of days that you're meeting someone. And so the initial conversation, the personality that came out, and truly being able to be myself. Oftentimes as women, we have to put on that cover letter, show up as whoever the cover letter is. But I was able to show up as myself. I walked in, I was able to be, hey, and like, I'm here to talk. You can stay if you want to, not if you don't want it to. And to have someone to truly see that and to see me in that moment, it just felt really good. And for someone to be on your level, to like the same things you like, be passionate about the same things you're passionate about. So yeah.
Dr. Showanna, first of all, I love your enthusiasm about this. I love your attitude about it. I loved watching you on screen. Would you stick around with me, because we do have to get Claudia off to this red carpet? And I would love to get your thoughts about also like a trending news clip that kind of goes with your time on the show. So if you have could you give me like a little bit more time?
Absolutely, I can. Okay. And congratulations, Claudia. I'm gonna go check out the movie.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I love seeing women like you on the show. Like what you like. I'm a fan of a smart girl. I'm very much pro that. I love that you lead with your brain. You're a naturally beautiful woman. I think you'd make a fantastic wife to whoever you want. And I do hope your king is out there. I would love to see women like you have your happily ever after. I know doing this on a reality show was difficult because I was picturing myself like, oh, that's gotta be tough. Like you like someone, then they bring in a new batch of girls every few days and you're like, you have a connection and someone else comes in. And then, a lot of men have short attention spans. They'd be like, oh, a squirrel. And you know what I mean? And I commend you. You maintain, because I feel like if I had a connection with someone and then some other girls came around and you look, I'd be like, hello, excuse me.
Well, you can't do that after you've been called aggressive. You got to kind of calm.
I know. then you're kind of
that's
hobbled.
the thing. We'll get into that.
Claudia,
Claudia,
I need you to ask her because I want to hear her answer about what she thought about the other two guys. Because
I'm on it. I am on it. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
You
Showanna.
go run to run. And on the 29th, everybody go see this movie. I saw it on Tuesday. It was amazing. So congratulations, Claudia. Enjoy.
Thanks, friend. I'm so sorry. I gotta go. Bye, y'all.
No. Bye. Thank you so much, Dr. Showanna, for sticking around with us. As you know, media. So we were good. And then it was like, oh, okay, we're not good, but we are good here because I want to talk to you about the other two kings. There was Carlos and obviously Tyson. What were your thoughts about those two? And was there any spark there? Because we only saw you connect with Thaddeus.
Oh, girl, you put me in a hot seat. So the other guys, they were wonderful as well. I must say, I know everyone is always asking me like, oh my gosh, tell me more about Tyson. What you see is what you get. And in that very last episode that aired, and to see the genuineness of him actually walking in to talk to Idolize, that's who he was. Like he was literally like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Like, I'm trying to be a good person here. And every woman was like, is Tyson Beckford? And so, of course, they wanted to get to know him and to talk to him. And so I did get a chance to connect with Tyson, but it wasn't necessarily on a romantic level. We got a chance to just, of course, talk and have conversation and to learn more about him as a person. And so he's actually a really sweet person. You know, I read the comments, even though they tell us not to read the comments. But Tyson was a really great person just in general as well. And so I admire the way that he had to juggle everything that he had to juggle. I could not have imagined being in his shoes in that space.
Yeah. In terms of the comments, so you obviously heard Claudia and I responding to the comments. I like to just go fully head on. If there's something that I feel like should be addressed, I will just address it, but I'm definitely not one who lives in the comments. It's just, first of all, there ain't nobody got time for that. But was there a particular comment or something that stood out to you that in hindsight, you're like, I really wish I got an opportunity to clarify that?
I'm not necessarily sure that it was anything that I felt like I had to clarify. Most of the comments that people left as it pertains to me and Thaddeus was just more so about the scene that we had together. Of course, some guys were like, oh, she is aggressive or whatever that looks like. What I will say is that, you know, as women, as you said it when you all were talking about the show initially, depending on where you are in life, there is a point of aggression to whatever it is. I'm currently a CEO of an organization right now. So I have to lead from a different space. And it's great to think that there are men out there that truly see you and they don't look at you as aggressive. They see you as a boss or whatever the space that it is that you're in. And I can say, as I was connecting with Thaddeus on the show, I was able to be in my soft girl era. So like, I understood what he was saying. Like after, you know, we had the conversation, it wasn't necessarily aggressive. It was the assertive piece, which is what I said. It's assertive, not necessarily aggressive. And so that's probably about the only thing that I would clear up from what the comments said. You know, other than that, people got all types of memes sometimes. And I'm like, you wouldn't do this if you had the opportunity to. And you probably wouldn't.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very easy to throw jabs from like outside of like you're outside of the stadium. Like it's when you're in the arena, it's a very different experience. So just the idea, is this your first time doing reality or television?
First time doing reality. Like I've been on the news and different things like that. But the first time doing reality, I was so scared walking into this situation because you don't know how people are going to perceive you. Right. And keyboard warriors, they have so many things to say. But yeah.
I will tell you, because I've had other friends who have done reality and like, especially when it's like a looking for love situation. My biggest piece of advice going on, especially if you're a reality show novice, is don't put so much stock on who the contenders are or possible partners are on the show and on set. Like, this is an opportunity in my purview for people who are single and intentionally looking for love to put their best foot forward. In what you're basically doing is advertising, like, hey, I am out here. And I say that in a very like, I say it, I know people are going to be like, I don't need to advertise myself, but it is a sort of advertisement in a culture where people are swiping, they're not looking up, we're not having interpersonal conversations in person, and it is increasingly more difficult for qualified people to meet people who they qualify with. So if you have an opportunity to be on a stage like a reality show and you show up in the posture and position for which you did, I think your chances of finding your true love are exponentially greater. And I think that you played it exactly perfectly right.
I really appreciate that. And I know you asked about both of the other guys, so definitely want to make sure I touch on Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos is an amazing person. When I tell you, for him to be, you know, all of them are celebrities, but for him to be someone that's still on TV and still doing great things out in the world in general, like, he's a really, truly genuine person. And so getting to know him was even more amazing, and interacting with him on set and even post the show, like, he's really a genuinely great person. And so the laughs, the humor that he had, he was always checking on everyone, made sure everyone felt comfortable in every situation that we were in. And so I can say that they definitely picked a great batch of men for King's Court. Overall, with all that was happening, you know, we get to see them date and get to see that play out. That's a whole different ballpark. I'm talking about them as individuals. So as individuals, they're great. So people can say whatever they want to say about each one of the guys individually. I got to know them as individuals, and they were really, really nice people.
Well, do you have any predictions about what could potentially happen?
You know, I can't give any predictions about what could potentially happen. I just truly hope that they walk away with either finding their queen, or if they didn't find their queen there, that they have had the opportunity to date several different women in that space with different personalities, different backgrounds, and that they're able to truly know what they're looking for and who they're looking for. And just like us, that person is out there and that they find them. So I just really wish love and happiness on each one of them and each one of the ladies, because again, it was some amazing women that were there as well.
Yeah. And I think that we get the perfect balance between, you know, the little drama piece, like, we need that because it's a reality TV show. But overall, I do feel like there are some sisterhoods and, like, you know, things that are really building. And I love to see that. Okay. Before we go, we have a viral clip. It's all about, we'd love for you to weigh in. It's about a relationship. It's going viral. A content creator is calling out older men who haven't settled down, including some celebs. So let's take a look at that.
Give me the wife. Give me the wife. Slim Thug, Shaquille O'Neal, Shannon Sharp. They just some old losers. Oh my God. One of the things you don't want to do is just chase women your whole life. Being a womanizer, that should never, ever add up to being anything that's taking you away from your family, and family time isn't taken away from the natural joy of your life, the natural wealth in life and living, making life worth living, chasing money your whole life. That makes life not worth living. Who are you getting all this money to spend it with if it's not family?
So your thoughts on that, Dr. Showanna?
First of all, he was kind of mean. But honestly, you know what? Everyone is at a different place in their life, and everybody doesn't want to be married. Everyone doesn't want to be married. Everyone does not want a family, and they're not looking for that. And so I think that as an individual, allow people to be who they are. Like, I have friends that they do not care about being married. They don't want kids, and that's okay. I want to be married. I want children, and that's okay too. If those guys want to grow old and have all the women in the world, as long as the women that they're dealing with know what's happening, I say be open and honest about what it is. Give us an opportunity to make the decision of what it is. Don't put me in a situation where I don't get to decide if I want to be a part of whatever this triangle is that you have going on, or circle or octagon or whatever it is that you have going on. But to each his own. Everybody doesn't want the family. If that man said he wants a wife, give him the wife. Now let him have a wife. If those guys don't want a wife, they don't have to have a wife. I mean, look at them. They have a smorgasbord of women. The same thing with some women. That smorgasbord of men. So I think that was a bit deep for him to go in on them like that. We want clicks, we want views. However, I understand where he's coming from as well. He wants a wife, have a wife. If they don't want a wife, then don't force them to have a wife. I wish we could do a bubble. The people that's looking for love and want a husband and want a wife, we're here. And if you don't, get on the outside of the bubble so y'all can play with each other. Yeah. And get out of our dating pool, and keep the married people out of our dating pool too, because the most single men I ever met are married. And so, keep them out of our dating pool and we're okay. So as long as those guys, because we see them, as long as they share what they want and what they're looking for as a woman, if you attach yourself to that, then you're saying that you're okay with it because they're showing you that. Now, don't think you're about to change anybody, because it ain't nothing about you as a woman that's going to make a man change if he don't want to change. So just know that. But let them people do what they want to do. Just don't come over here because I want a husband and I want a child.
And you know what? Speak it, continue to speak it, because that's definitely going to happen for you if you're not on that road already, because we don't know unless you want to share something.
No child. And I'm still single right now.
Okay. Well, we are manifesting in these parts. You're obviously beautiful. You're so smart. And you're a star. You really are. You stood out and that's hard to do sometimes. Like when you're in a situation like that, you really stood out. You held your own. We are proud of you. Dr. Showanna, thank you so much for coming on Accidentally Informed. We know this was like a crazy day. Tell our informers how they can find you, follow you, all of those things.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Shay Cole. I am tagged in collaboration on everything from Accidentally Informed. So DrShaeCole. On TikTok, it's Dr. Shay Cole as well. And, just look for me on social media, follow me, engage with me. I definitely talk back. And so thank you all so much for having me on the show. I was excited to be here.
Yes, we appreciate you. I'm pulling up just a few things before you go. Dr. Showanna, next Bachelorette.
Yes.
I love this one. Dr. Showanna was so brave, fun, and beautiful, and I loved her in the mix. People are intimidated by people, and especially women who are able to effectively communicate and articulate their ideas, feelings. Dr. Showanna gave a crash course on how to do that gracefully. Yes, Kaya, 1,000,000% agree. So many people on here just singing your praises. So when you're like ever feeling like, okay, I'm just going to I need a little boost, come on to Accidentally Informed's comment section, because people have been riding for you from the very beginning. So thank you, Dr. Showanna. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you all so much.
You take care. Informers. Oh, this was a sprint. Okay. Obviously, we wanted to make sure that we were here for you today, because we just did, again, the Breakfast Club yesterday. That episode dropped on YouTube. Make sure you go over, definitely support there. And if you're new here, like, subscribe, follow. Obviously, Claudia Jordan is in the middle of a massive press tour. She's in LA. She's about to hit the red carpet. So she had to move things up and we had to let her go early. But she will be back, and we will be back as always on Wednesdays for Accidentally Informed. Also, if you have a moment, make sure you go to our Instagram and our TikTok. Like those, follow those, tell a friend, because we are growing. Thank you again to the Shade Room. The Shade Room was last week. So thank you to the Shade Room. But thank you again to the Breakfast Club for having us on. We had such a great time, and we appreciate all of your feedback and all of your love. So until next time, Informers, thank you and have a good one.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.